If you are unfamiliar with this Mark IV twin-turbo 6-speed manual 15th anniversary limited edition Toyota Supra, this is the video for you today. This car was taken to a shop local to me and they performed work on the car. To verify that the work was done correctly, they took the car on a test drive and ended up wrecking the car. It looks like from the video, a lot of people have speculated. I have personally driven multiple Supras, and I can say that the rear LSD is a very poor design from the factory, and this is probably what caused the wreck. I've seen multiple Supras wreck from this. What happens is one wheel lets go. It puts you into an undesirable, if you don't know how to drive the car, undesirable turn of events, and you end up wrecking it. A lot of people end up wrecking cars once that wheel lets go. So as you can see from the video, this is what most likely happened. Unfortunately, the car rolled multiple times, ending in a disaster. Luckily enough, the driver lives to drive another day. Unfortunately, the shop was at fault and it damaged and destroyed this very rare low mileage Supra. Everybody, I believe at this point that knows Toyota Supras knows this story. The one thing about this car is now it has been taken to the auction, and this car is going through the auction in the next couple days, and I'm going to keep track of it because I want to bid on the car. I'm planning to bid $15,000 to $20,000. But at the same time, I'm kind of afraid because the car has been wrecked so severely that I'm afraid that there isn't very many good parts. And at this point, it's very questionable if this car could actually be rebuilt. So that being said, I can't wait to actually see how high this thing goes, or maybe it will go super low because it is so severely damaged. I just know from watching the auctions at what Mark IV Supras are going for, it seems like people have this really inflated idea of what they're worth, but at the end of the day, salvage title Supras aren't actually worth that amount of money because you can never sell them for that amount of money. So the insurance company, it looks like they have valued the car at a little bit over $200,000, a very, very low mileage. Supposedly the original owner still owned the car, but it's very questionable to see what's going to really happen with the car. So I can't wait to actually see it go through the auction, and I can't wait to see what, if I don't get it, what the person is going to do with it. Hopefully it just doesn't get torn down for parts, or even if it does get torn down for parts, hopefully somebody goes in depth to look at the differential, to kind of see and diagnose, to see what happened and why there was an accident, or what, maybe there was a failure, maybe when the axles broke. Who knows what could have happened? A lot of things could have happened with very high horsepower cars and high horsepower Supras. You never know, especially when it's not your car. You never want to go take it and just do like a crazy pull with it, which is kind of what it looks like from the video was going to happen. But who really knows at this point, because the shop that had the car kind of distanced themselves from the car, which really makes sense because it was one of their techs. They stood behind their tech, which was really cool, but at the same time, it's almost an irreplaceable car. Such a low mileage Supra, it is probably almost impossible at this day and age with how things have gone with super prices, and it's almost to the point where if you're going to get the car, are you going to be able to find one at the same mileage? I use a very useful tool called AutoAstat, and why this tool is so useful is you can see what cars have gone for at the auction, and there will be a link in the description for AutoAstat so you can check it out for yourself. And as you can see, the good plus about this Supra is the insurance company is selling it. I do not buy a car unless I look to see what's going on with it on AutoAstat, because you never know if the car has been bought, temporarily fixed to look better, and then re-ran through the auction. So definitely check it out. But as you can see, this car had sold for $39,000. It actually shows that it has not sold on AutoAstat now, but it did actually sell for $39,000. I'm not exactly sure if the insurance company bid the car up, then ended up winning it, and then ended up running it back through, or if the people that bought it couldn't actually afford the $39,000. So then it ended up selling for 40 plus, which I bid 20 grand on the first go around. And then after that, I was like, man, this thing is, I don't see the value. I thought it was worth 15 to 20. As you can see, there is not a straight panel on the car. It is completely destroyed. All the wheels are bent. The engine is probably really questionable at this point, especially for being rolled so many times. The rear bumper is damaged. The taillights are damaged. The wings damaged. There's just too much damage to really know if you're getting your value back, especially with how it rolled and it landed on a train track. The rear differential could be cracked and broken, and the transmission case could be cracked and broken, which those 6-speed manual transmissions are very expensive now, very hard to come by. And if you have a bad transmission case, you're probably not going to find another one, and you're just going to be out the money. The interior, it looks decent, but it looks like that B pillar on the passenger side got pushed over, and the dash looks a little crunched, so the dash might not even be good. Usually those dashes go for, like $800 to $1,000. You can get new ones, I think, for $1,500, but really questionable. A lot of parts look like they're missing. There was the intercooler that was stuffed in the car during the accident, but it is now missing, which it was completely bent up and mangled anyway. So that really wasn't that big a factor, but it is missing now. And the car, to me, with how many times it rolled, how it landed, how it hit a train, it is very questionable if anything is really good on this car. I'm sure there are a few good parts that you could salvage, but $40,000 worth of parts, I really want to see who buys the car to see what's going to happen to it. And if a YouTuber bought it, it'd be really cool to see if they're going to try to rebuild it, which if somebody rebuilt this car, it would be crazy. I have previously rebuilt Supras before from the ground up, and I know what goes into them. And something this mangled, even taking it to a frame shop and having it on a frame machine, it would take a ton of work, and you'd probably be at the $200,000 that the insurance company valued this car at. So what do you guys think of this Mark IV Supra? Do you think it was worth the $40,000, or do you think it was worth? I'm interested to see what you guys think in the comments, if this car was worth it or not. $40,000+ on a completely destroyed Mark IV Toyota Supra, to me, is insane. But at the end of the day, it was a 15,000 to 17,000 mile original owner car, but it now retains a salvage title. So I'm 100% not sure. I would never buy a salvage title Supra. But at the end of the day, one day I do want to own a Mark IV Supra. I'm probably not going to get a twin turbo 6-speed manual car, but if I did get a 5-speed manual, and then I can convert it to a turbo car and then do whatever I want to it, because then I'm not really modifying a low mile manual car. So it's just one of those things. If I got a 6-speed manual, I probably would modify it, but it really wouldn't make sense because they're worth so much money now. The prices have gotten out of control on Mark IV Supras, which in the early 2000s, I'm sure the Fast and the Furious guys never would have thought that Toyota Supra prices would be hitting almost 300 grand. But I'm very interested to see what you guys think with the pricing of this car, with how severely damaged it was. I'm really interested to see who bought the car. Hopefully it's another YouTuber. Guessing at this point, I'd bet that Tavares maybe bought it, because he bought the P1. I think he paid $550,000 for that. It was another viral internet car, and this one is as well. So it'd be very interesting to see what he does to it, if he gets it, if he's going to go in depth to see what happened to the car, why it wrecked, and maybe he does a full rebuild, because I know I believe Jax rebuilds it. I think that's his channel. He did the whole Evo thing, so I'm sure he is very able to rebuild that Supra to 100% factory spec, but at the end of the day, it's still going to have a salvage style car. So what do you guys think? Put in the comments below. If you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.